Hello everyone, I'm Meenakshi and I welcome you all to Tathastu and welcome back to our environment and ecology series where we are discussing about the important concepts related to environment. So in yesterday's class we discussed about the functions of ecosystem. There are various functions of ecosystem and one among them was this nutrient cycle, this biogeochemical cycle. So today we will be discussing about the nutrient cycles and carbon cycle in very detail, that what is carbon cycle, what are the steps of a carbon cycle. So let's start, but before that these are the courses which are offered by Tathastu ISS for all of you. We have MSLV that specifically targets your mains examination, then there is this NCERT module, you can register for it, then we have PSLV targets your prelims examination and it will be launching very soon, and then we have philosophy optional. You can inquire about these courses on these contact numbers, and also if you want you can visit the office on this address. I hope you have got the information about the courses. Now let's start a lecture which is about these biogeochemical cycles, or in simple terms which is about the nutrient cycle. Now first of all let's understand what is a nutrient cycle, and let's understand it in very simple terms. So nutrient cycle refers to this continuous process through which these different nutrients move back and forth between the physical environment, the living environments and the environment. So if you have to understand in very simple terms that what is nutrient cycle, it is constant flow of nutrients back and forth. So nutrient cycle is basically the constant flow which goes on. Now these are of four types. This nutrient cycle is of four types. We have carbon cycle, then we have nitrogen cycle. Now these both are gaseous cycle. If you have to further classify them, these cycles, if we have to see, we have these four types of cycle. Four are the carbon cycle, the nitrogen cycle, then we have phosphorus cycle, and then we have sulfur cycle. Now if we have to further classify them, so this carbon and nitrogen cycle is part of our gaseous cycle, and these phosphorus and sulfur cycle is part of our sedimentary cycle. So these are the further classification of these four types, which is carbon, nitrogen, phosphorus and sulfur. So these are our four types of cycles. So I hope you have understand the definition that what are nutrient cycles and the four types and their further classification. So today we are discussing about the carbon cycle in detail. Before that, based on these replacement, the nutrient cycle is referred to as perfect and imperfect. So these cycles which we have just seen, which are our carbon, nitrogen, phosphorus and sulfur, they are further divided into this gaseous and sedimentary part. Now they are also divided into this perfect and imperfect cycle. Now a perfect nutrient cycle, what is a perfect nutrient cycle? It is the nutrient cycle in which the nutrients are replaced as fast as they are utilized. Means if we are utilizing a nutrient, it is replaced at that fast momentum. We have seen the nutrient cycle is this constant flow. So a perfect nutrient cycle is the one in which these nutrients which we have consumed are replaced as fast as they are utilized or as fast as they are consumed. So most gaseous cycle, which is our carbon and nitrogen, they are generally considered perfect because as soon as we utilize these nutrients, they are replaced. And in contrast, our sedimentary cycles are imperfect ones. So if we have to if we have to define that which one is perfect cycle, which one is imperfect nutrient cycle. So perfect are the ones which are replaced as soon as they get utilized. That is our gaseous cycles. We'll see how these gaseous cycles, why these gaseous cycles are actually called perfect, and how these nutrients are replaced fastly or as we consume them. In contrast, we have two sedimentary cycles. Why they are considered imperfect? Because some nutrients are lost from the cycle, they get logged into these sediments and then they take years to release back into the environment. So that is the reason why these sedimentary cycles are called imperfect, because they don't get get replaced as fast as they are utilized. This is the reason why they are called the imperfect ones. So this was the classification of gaseous cycles, of our sedimentary cycles, and then perfect one and the imperfect one. Now let's move towards our carbon cycle. So if we talk about, compared to oxygen and nitrogen, carbon is a minor component in our atmosphere. If we talk about our atmosphere, you can see in this diagram that nitrogen comprises of 78% in atmosphere. Then we have oxygen, which is 21%. So major portion is occupied by these in our atmosphere. Other than that, we are discussing about carbon cycle, and if we talk about carbon dioxide only, it constitutes 0.04% in atmosphere. So it is such a minor component. Despite that, it is very important. Why? Because without carbon dioxide, life would not be possible, because plants use this carbon dioxide to make their food. Plants need to produce carbohydrates through this photosynthesis. So they use this carbon, water and sunlight to make their food through the this process of photosynthesis. So despite being such a minor component, because the major is this nitrogen and oxygen, so despite being this minor component, it is very important to support this life system on our planet. Now moving towards the major form of carbon in atmosphere is carbon dioxide. So always remember this, because these are very small facts which are asked in your examinations. They can give you these 4 gases. They can ask you that which of them is the major component, minor component, then the major form of carbon. In what form carbon is present in atmosphere? So it is present in the form of carbon dioxide. Now we are discussing majorly about what is a carbon cycle. So let's discuss the steps how this carbon, so we have discussed that carbon cycle is a perfect one. You know, the nutrients, as we consume them, they are replaced at that pace only. So let's see how they are replaced and why this cycle is a perfect one. Let's see the steps of this cycle. So this carbon cycle involves a constant transfer of carbon from atmosphere to living beings. How? Through the process of photosynthesis, carbon from the atmosphere is transferred to green plants and eventually to animals. Let's understand this with this diagram. So we have seen that carbon is present in the form of carbon dioxide. So this is carbon dioxide in the atmosphere. Then it is utilized by the plants for the process of photosynthesis. Then these plants are consumed by the animals, and when these animals die or decompose to some form of carbon, is released back into the atmosphere again. And when that certain materials don't decompose, it is converted into these fossil fuels, for example coal, oil or gas. And when for example, now when we burn coal, now these are sedimentary, this is when we burn coal, then through this fossil fuel combustion, again the carbon dioxide is released back into the atmosphere. Now one more important thing, that plant respiration, we inhale carbon dioxide, exhale, and we inhale oxygen and exhale carbon dioxide. Similarly, plants only need carbon dioxide when they make their own food. Otherwise, they also need oxygen, and this carbon dioxide is also released through plants' respiration in the atmosphere. So this is the constant flow of this carbon cycle, how this carbon constantly flows into our atmosphere. I hope you have understood this very clearly, that carbon dioxide is present in our atmosphere, consumed by plants, those plants consumed by animals, and within some time when these animals die, they decompose, that carbon is released back into atmosphere. Some of them don't decompose completely, some things become fossils and fossil fuels. Now when these fossil fuels are combusted, they are burned, then this carbon dioxide is released back again into the atmosphere, and also through this plant respiration. Always remember this might be a tricky thing to remember, that this plant respiration releases carbon dioxide. Now this is the similar thing which is written, and I think and I hope that you have understood it through this diagram very well. So let's see this. It returns to the atmosphere through the respiration and decomposition decomposition of dead organic stuff. So we have seen this through respiration and through decomposition of dead organic stuff, the carbon is released back into the atmosphere again. Now some carbon enters the long term. Okay, one more important thing that we have just seen, that this is a short term cycle, the carbon used by plants, then the animals. So this is a short term cycle, then there is some long term cycle as well. Now this long-term cycles related to these sedimentary things, the things which become fossil fuels, because it takes many years to become a fossil, and then this fossil fuel is burned, then that carbon is released back into the atmosphere. So some carbon enters this long-term cycle as undecomposed organic matter that builds up in peaty or the marshy layers of the soil, and such carbon is trapped, that carbon is also trapped in deep seas as insoluble carbonates for millions of years, until and unless a geological phenomenon takes place in the sea, and after that that carbon is released back. Now these rocks may be exposed to erosion, releasing their carbon dioxide, carbonates and bicarbonates into streams and rivers. This is how these geological phenomena may take place. And if we talk about fossil fuel, we have examples such as coal, oil and natural gas, and when we burn them, then this carbon is released back into the atmosphere. Now what are these? They are organic substances that were buried before degrading, and with passage of time and through certain geological process, they were transformed into these fossil fuels. They also contain carbon, we know that, and now we know that because of excessive burning of fossil fuels, we are experiencing this global warming. There are a lot of changes which are taking place around us. So these definitely we can understand, it is very common that they contain carbon, which when burned release into carbon dioxide, and now it is causing certain changes in our environment. The climate around us is changing. So this was all about carbon cycle, that how you, I guess this is the most easy way, this diagram you have understood it very clearly, that how the carbon flows into our atmosphere. So this was about the carbon cycle. Now let's see a question. This question was asked in your UPSC prelims examination, in which we have been asked to consider the following. So we have these four options: photosynthesis, respiration, decay of organic matter, and then volcanic action. Now let's see what is the question. What are they asking? Which of the above add carbon dioxide to the carbon cycle on Earth? So we have been given four processes, and we have been asked that which of the following add carbon dioxide to the carbon cycle. Now let's see one by one. Does photosynthesis add carbon dioxide? Plants use carbon, they take this carbon from the atmosphere, they don't add it. So always remember that photosynthesis doesn't add carbon to the carbon cycle on Earth. So we can eliminate these two options, in which option number 1 has been given, because photosynthesis doesn't contribute. Now let's talk about respiration. Yes, we inhale oxygen and exhale carbon dioxide, so we can see option 2 is there. If we try to do it by elimination method, we can see that option 3 is automatically correct, and we have just seen that decay of organic matter does contribute to the release of carbon into the atmosphere. So option 3 is there. And these volcanic action, there are certain volcanic actions also which contributes, which add carbon to the carbon cycle. So option 3, which is 2, 3 and 4 is our correct answer for this question. Always try to solve these questions. These type of questions, if you can solve through elimination techniques as well, it will be easier for you. And I hope you have found the session helpful. If you found it helpful, please like the video and subscribe to the channel. Thank you.